Hello, I'm your host Mateo Valenzuela, and I'm joined here today with my four guests: Zion,
Hello.
Jahsua,
Hello.
Leslie,
Hi.
and Sophie.
Hi.
As teenagers, dating is one of the biggest pressures we face, and dating is new to most of us. One of the issues that happens at every high school is that people are going to date and are not necessarily in the same class level. From time to time at school, you will see a senior dating a freshman, and it doesn't seem to bother anyone. However, if we change the word senior to freshman to 18 and 14, it is a big deal. We're here today to discuss, as teens, whether this is a serious problem that goes on at schools. And as this goes on at schools, why are there adults that are allowing this to happen? I'm Mateo from Spot 127, and this is SPOTcast. So, have any of you guys personally seen seniors and freshmen that are dating in your schools?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. No.
You guys, so what was it like seeing them dating? What were your thoughts on it? Did you think it was okay? Did you think that they should have, stopped?
I thought it was weird because the age gap is so big, and a 14-year-old with an 18-year-old, that's really weird because the 18-year-old is about to be in college, and then the 14-year-old just came from middle school. It's weird.
Exactly.
Yeah, I agree with Zion. That is really weird because after they go to college, if they go out of state, you're not going to see them ever again. So, that's kind of weird. You still have 3 years of high school.
Yeah, it's kind of weird because at 14, you're barely even, developing. You're 1 year into being a teen. And at, 18, you're 1 year away from leaving your teens. And just, it's kind of you're an adult when you're 18. And you're, a kid-ish.
Yeah,
a
so
teen when you're
It's kind of
14.
nasty.
Yeah.
Disgusting.
I have seen freshmen and juniors and then senior and sophomore, and that's kind of okay, but it's still kind of weird because they're not the same age.
See, so at Franklin High School, they actually make it to where when you're a senior, they tell them okay, if you're a senior now, you shouldn't be dating freshmen. Do you think this should be done at every high school? The teachers tell them you can't be dating freshmen if you're a senior.
Yes, it should be at every high school.
Yeah, it should be at every high school.
yeah, every high school.
Yeah, because of the legal repercussions of an adult than a child.
Okay, so since we're talking about what are the motives behind a freshman wanting to date a senior, or you think, or a senior wanting to date a freshman? Why would they ever want to do that?
When you're young, it's I guess it's kind of normal to like people who are way older than you. For instance, you're watching a Marvel movie and you're like, oh my gosh, Thor, oh, you're so hot, but when you're 18, you should know not to date people who are 14, 15. It's really weird because you've been that age, you've grown up. You should know, date people your own age.
So it's you're more mature, so you should know better type of thing. So yeah, I'd understand that. Josh, what do you think?
Usually when a senior wants to date a freshman, it's probably because they can't get anybody their age, so they have to go below the age group.
Oh.
And when it's a freshman dating a senior, it's probably because they want to be cool, or they don't know anybody at the school, so they think if they make friends with seniors and stuff, then they'll be cooler.
Yeah, so kind of like what Josh mentioned, freshmen probably do it to get more popularity so that they're more known, but I think that sometimes seniors going after freshmen is for the wrong intentions. But yeah.
I mean, I think freshmen dating seniors could also be about getting experience. Hey, you have a senior girl or a senior guy, whatever. You can show it off to your friends and stuff like that.
Alright, so do you think there's any scenario where it could work out where a freshman can date a senior? I don't know, maybe they got held back for 2 years and the freshman's 16 or something. Is there any instance where it could be a thing?
Yes and no. It's weird, but I think the problem is more the ages, not the grades.
I see.
Yeah.
I think unless they're both 18, then you shouldn't be dating, like, period. It doesn't matter what your grade is. If you're both seniors and one is 17 or 16, you're 18, you shouldn't date.
I think that for the most part, no. But I agree with Zion with the if it's like 16 and 18, then that's fine because you were held back. But like our instructor said that if you're 18, then go for ages above. If you're like not 18, go for ages. You can go around your age gap. Well, not gap, but like, around your age if you're below 18. But if you're over, then just go for like the 20s or something. I don't know.
I don't think it's gonna work out because like all the stigmas and like stigmatism around dating someone from like that big of an age gap, and like it is kind of weird with all the legal stuff.
So if you guys like ever had so let's say we were all seniors and you had a friend that was dating a freshman, would you tell them anything or would you just like let it happen?
Well, I don't like to get in people's business too much, but maybe not at first, but if it continues, then I probably will say something like, hey, you can go to jail for that.
I agree with Zion. I would probably like ask him like, dude, like what's wrong with you? Like, what's the issue? Because like I said, if you're 18 dating like a 14-year-old, you obviously don't attract 18-year-old girls, so you gotta fix that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I would definitely mention it. I wouldn't get too much in it because I also don't like getting in people's business. But if it continues or it like keeps going, escalating from there, then I'd definitely say something and just be like, hey, this is kind of illegal.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I'll be more like testing how the relationship is like truly a relationship, if it's actually a thing, or if it's just hey, what the heck, just get together and stuff like that. See if it's actually what they want to do or it's just popularity wise.
So if it's actually what they want to do, like, are
I'll
you
just
cool?
leave them alone. I'm just like, I'm out of here.
It's still illegal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Are you okay?
Use the +4 Uno card.
Is it actually like illegal to date someone or is it just when it
It's-
gets like sexual?
Well, when it gets like sexual, it's considered like a certain type of rape. When there's
Statutory rape?
yeah,
Yeah.
statutory rape when you're 18 and,
Yeah.
and anyone under. So, I don't know about dating.
So is
But-
it really the relationship or is it just like
Well, because when you're
The-
that old and you have someone young, they say like, "Oh, I love them," but they don't. The 14-year-old doesn't even know what that means for the
Yeah.
most part, and like the 18-year-old like maybe does, but like I would
Yeah.
like to think they have like other reasons for dating them, not
yeah,
just like, "Oh, I love
the
them."
wrong intentions?
Yeah,
Yeah. Alright, cool.
the intentions were like, "Oh, I want to use you." Intentions, like, but yeah, talking about that, like, what do you think? Like, do you think seniors do this, like, date freshmen to use them? Because, like, what's their thought process? And they're like, "Oh, like I want to date this freshman," because for the most of the time, I don't think it would be like, "Oh, I actually care for them," But,
Honestly, I have no idea because I'm a senior now, and I don't think I'd ever date a freshman. Probably not even a sophomore. Maybe not even a junior. I just want to stay in my age because going lower is weird. But maybe they do just want to, get in their pants.
like,
Am I allowed to say that?
We're allowed to. Yeah, I'm saying we're allowed to say stuff like
yeah,
that.
yeah. All right.
I think usually if it's a freshman dating a senior, like they're going after the senior, it's probably because they want things like, oh, he can drive me places, or oh, he can buy me things.
Yeah.
Or if it's a senior going after a freshman, it's probably like, she's young and dumb, she doesn't know anything, so I can manipulate her. I can make her do things that she normally doesn't do. I can make her into the girl I want her to be, not that she should be.
Exactly.
Yeah, I agree with Josh 100%. They could just be using each other back and forth, for their own needs, whatever they need. But yeah, like personally, I haven't experienced that and I don't think I will because I'm just, why? I mean, us looking down, why would you go for a freshman? Like they're babies.
Yeah, a little.
I mean, there's like a bunch of other people out there in your
That's
grade
true.
too,
Yeah.
so like you probably couldn't get someone if that's the case.
So if we're talking about that, then is freshman junior okay? Like, when do we like draw the line, you think?
At 18 for sure.
Yeah.
At
Yeah.
18?
It's not the
Yeah.
greatest age for sure.
Yeah,
Okay.
Because if a
age.
freshman happens to be 14 and like a junior is like 16 or 15, I don't see a problem with that. But if you're 18, you're like, I know people say like, oh, 18 and 17 is 1 year, but like you're legally classified as an adult. So
Yeah. So we sort of been talking about like we've been thinking like a girl that's a freshman dating a senior that's a boy, but what about like when you have the boy that dates a senior that's a girl? You know, is it different or is it?
wait, you
same
said a
thing?
boy that's a senior dating a freshman that's a girl? Or
No,
that-
no,
a girl.
A girl who's a senior.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, the girl who's a senior is dating a freshman that's a boy. Like, is that different than a freshman girl dating a senior boy?
Yeah, I agree. It doesn't matter what gender you are, because like people might look at a girl being older and say, "Oh, it's not bad. She's a girl," but like she could still have the same intentions as a boy would, even though it's not as common. She still could, so like, it's still legal.
Yeah, she could still like manipulate the boy as well, so it doesn't even it's either or. It doesn't really matter like what way it is or what roles are in what.
Yeah, it's the same for me. Because, like, honestly, girls can still do the same thing. Girls can still rape guys, and girls
Yeah.
can still
Really?
kidnap
Yeah.
guys.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's something that's like overlooked a lot. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
especially in court, they're like, "Oh, a girl could never rape a guy."
Yeah.
but
That's not true. They can.
Yeah,
They can.
I personally would never like think of a scenario where that could happen. But yeah, like you guys said,
It happens though. It happens.
does.
It can happen.
Stop.
Well, thank you guys for joining me in this great discussion that we had. I would like to thank my 4 guests, Zion,
Thank you.
Jahsua,
Thank you.
Leslie,
Thank you.
and Sophie.
Thank you.
For Spot with 27, this is SPOTcast.